Hello and welcome to the final week of the Premier League. And here we're going to take a look at the most important fixtures that went through. Here in this final Premier League weekend review, we're going to look at what went down between the relegation battle between Spurs and Everton, also West Ham versus Leeds, while Arsenal clinched their title away in Selhurst Park in Crystal Palace, while on the other hand, Bruno tries to reach his assist record, but also farewells happening in Etihad and Anfield. Let's look at what went down together. Full-time score at Selhurst Park: Crystal Palace 1, Arsenal 2, as champions sign off with a narrow victory. Arsenal lifted the Premier League trophy at Selhurst Park after sweeping aside Crystal Palace on the final day of the season. Arsenal ended their title-winning Premier League campaign with a 2-1 victory over Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park on Sunday. Having secured the top-flight crown on Tuesday, a much-changed Arsenal sign-off with all 3 points after goals from either half from Gabriel Jesus and Noni Madueke. With both teams eyeing their respective European finals, there was also a piece of history as Max Dowman, aged 16 years and 144 days, became the youngest player to ever start a Premier League match. Jesus twice went close to an opener early on, striking the frame of the goal with his first effort before having a one-on-one attempt saved by Dean Henderson in the Palace goal. Arsenal made their dominance count 3 minutes before halftime as Gabriel Martinelli set up Jesus, who fired past Henderson at his near post. Kai Havertz teed up Madueke shortly after the break, with England winger calmly volleying in from inside the penalty area. Mikel Arteta will have been disappointed that Arsenal allowed Jean-Philippe Mateta to set up an exciting end to the game when he glanced in the 89th minute header. Jeremy Pino then thought he rescued a point for Palace, but his shot deflected off Evan Guessand in an offside position as Arsenal profited a late VAR review to take all 3 points. Owing to a much-changed lineup, Jesus donned the captain's armband and delivered once again when facing Palace. He has been involved in 12 goals against Eagles, which is 8 goals and 4 assists, his most against any opponent in English football, also 12 versus Watford. Jesus has also been involved in 8 goals in his team's final top-flight match of the season, boasting the most final day goals and goal involvements in any current player in the division. At the other end of the experience spectrum, Dowman surpassed Jose Baxter to make Premier League history as youngest starter, having already boasted the records of the youngest scorer and player to appear in the competition. And Arteta will feel this was a deserved win for the champions, who accumulated 2.56 expected goals to Palace 1.1. Congratulations again for Arsenal as they defeated Palace away 2-1 and lifted the Premier League trophy. Now we move our attention to Etihad Stadium in the final game for Bernardo Silva and John Stones, but also Pep Guardiola, as Man City hosted Aston Villa, which ended in a Man City defeat with 2-1. And Guardiola ends Premier League tenure with a bittersweet defeat. Pep Guardiola bid farewell to Man City in the Premier League with a 2-1 defeat to Aston Villa on Sunday. Aston Villa played sport on Pep Guardiola's farewell party at the Etihad Stadium, coming from behind to claim a 2-1 win in the Spaniards' final match of the charge of Man City. Having announced his departure last week after Arsenal had sealed up the Premier League title following City's draw with Bournemouth, Guardiola would have wanted to end on a high, but saw his height held back by the newly crowned Europa League champions. Antoine Semenyo capitalized on some pedestrian defending from Andres Garcia to put City ahead in the 23rd minute, but Ollie Watkins' quick-fire brace turned into the game on the head. El Villa forward, fresh off its inclusion in the England's World Cup squad, struck twice within 16 minutes of the restart to put City in the spot of the bother, while Stalwarts Bernardo Silva and John Stones were given guards of honor as they left the Etihad pitch for the final time. Leon Bailey struck the woodwork during a frantic closing spell as Villa pursued their third, before Phil Foden controversially saw a 90th minute leveller ruled out for offside by the barest of margins after a VAR review. Nonetheless, the scenes after full-time belong to Guardiola, John Stones, and Bernardo Silva, with three departing City icons and Premier League greats receiving a fitting send-off from the Etihad crowd. Full-time score once again. At the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City 1, Europa League winners Aston Villa 2. Now we move to the crucial relegation survival game, and one of them is between Tottenham Hotspur and Everton. And that's full-time score, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 0, as Palhinha bundles home to ensure safety. Well, West Ham have beat Leeds United, but Tottenham ensured their Premier League survival by seeing off a lackluster Everton 1-0 on Sunday. Tottenham dragged themselves over the line in the Premier League relegation battle as they beat Everton 1-0 thanks to Joao Palhinha's first half goal. West Ham victory over Leeds United elsewhere on Sunday means Spurs would have been relegated with the defeat, but a lackluster Everton never looked likely to inflict such result on Roberto De Zerbi's team. Spurs started brightly, buoyed by the noisy home fans at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with Conor Gallagher and Kevin Danso slushing wide early on. Yet their performance had grown rather subdued by the time the decisive moment arrived in the 43rd minute. Matty Stell swung in a corner and Palhinha capitalized on the slack marking to meet it. He could only direct a header against the post, but the midfielder reacted swiftly to nudge in on the rebound, with Tiano Bari unable to stop it from going over the line. Jordan Pickford's error almost gave James Spence a goal after the break, but Spurs soon fell back and surrendered territory to Everton, as news of West Ham taking the lead began to go around the crowd. Everton, though, were woefully short in attack, and it was not until second half stoppage time that they had a shot on target, with Tyreek George facing Anton Kinski into action as Spurs' first home league win since December ensured their place in the top flight for the next term. And that's the full-time score of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 0. While West Ham defeated Leeds United 3-0, but that wasn't enough as they were relegated from the Premier League. Now we move to Amex Stadium between Brighton of Albion and Manchester United. Full-time score, Brighton 0, Manchester United 3, as Fernandes breaks Premier League assist record. It was a day to remember for Premier League record breaker Bruno Fernandes as Manchester United outclassed Brighton at the Amex Stadium. Bruno Fernandes broke the record for most assists in a Premier League season and also scored as Manchester United defeated Brighton 3-0 on Sunday. The Portugal international delivered the corner for Patrick Dorgu to open the scoring in the season finale at the Amex Stadium, and after Bryan and Mbeumo had doubled their lead, lashed in a third early in the second half. That marked the 21st top-flight assist for Fernandes, the most for any player in the single Premier League campaign. United have been pretty sluggish until Dorgu thumped the 33rd minute header from Fernandes' assist kicked the Red Devils into life.